11 o'clock.
Hey, Mikey.
So Buxton's not going to be here tonight?
Got your dancing shoes ready?
I sure do. Waiting for Nora.
She'll be there.
Okay.
Somebody, I mean, if she gets sick or something, you know.
Birthday.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you better.
I'm going backwards.
Yeah, that's okay. Going
I should have
backwards is
started
okay.
at 65 going backwards.
Yeah.
And I'd be
reversing
somewhere
in
about
numbers.
59.
Yeah, reversing in numbers.
Where's Sweeney?
works.
Sweeney, you're there and I'm here. I just think that's where I am. It's always great to see you, Tonda.
It's good to be seen, and like my friends say, hey,
Absolutely.
it's good to be seen and not viewed.
How many people you get?
Hey, that's nice.
How's your glucose?
I've got,
How's your glucose? All right, so we
and I
just
told them to be
you need
short and
to
sweet.
pull these chairs.
9.
You're all right. We can
No.
Yeah, where do you want us to sit?
Right down
Oh,
here.
that's where we'll sit?
So we'll pull that chair. I don't know.
Okay.
You look
And
on.
but there may only be like two at a
YouTube.
time.
How are you, Mr. Pettitivant?
So much
Good, good, good.
Thank you.
inflicting.
Really?
Oh yeah. Some people see.
Buxton sign.
It's in the Caribbean.
Is that where he is?
Is that where he's at?
A little rascal.
I know.
Jumping ship on us already.
Hope he doesn't jump ship.
I'm just kidding.
Murphy School. I knew I was going to see you.
Let's say I came in.
I knew I was going to see you someplace.
Big man's here. We can start.
So Eric's not going to be here, correct?
No.
I moved over. I didn't do it.
So who are we missing, Jeff? Is he here?
How are you?
Mike, have you heard anything from Jeff?
Have not. Haven't heard from him.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I guess your medication is working for you.
Oh, yeah.
How many times do you take insulin a day?
Twice. That's also my weekly one.
Trulicity? Same here. You, Nora and I both take
Ready?
Trulicity. Got the Trulicity date on
All
Sunday.
ready?
Get together. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, welcome to Kent County Levy Court. Tonight are committee meetings. We're meeting at 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware, in Levy Court Chambers, room 203. It's Tuesday, October the 4th, 2022. Before we proceed to the committee meetings, I'll turn it over to County Administrator to explain how folks can join us by phone and or WebEx.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. As President indicated, this meeting is being conducted at 555 Bay Road in Dover, and it's also being offered to guests to join us virtually via the internet using the WebEx platform. The link information is posted as part of our agenda at the top of the agenda. And for those guests who may be joining us via WebEx, we ask that you keep your devices on mute. There are opportunities throughout the meeting at the conclusion of each committee for public comments. And if you wish to make comment to Levy Court at that time, we ask you, if you're using a mobile phone, *3 on the mobile phone will raise an electronic hand. We'll be able to recognize you and bring you into the meeting room. On your desktop or laptop, there will be a raise hand icon at the bottom of the WebEx screen that you can activate, and that will also alert us to invite you into the room. Before proceeding with any comments, we ask that you state your name and address for the record, and then we will receive your comments. Mr. President, the meeting is a committee meeting, and because of that, we are following the Levy Court adopted rules of procedure for committee meetings, along with the Mason's Rules of Order. Turn the floor back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have 5 commissioners present this evening, so we do have a quorum. With that being said, the first item on the agenda falls under the Administration Committee. Commissioner Angel is chairman. I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Ms. Tanya Parks to talk about excellence in education and how it's going, where it's going.
I'll be quick because I want to thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity to bring you up to date on where we are with the Excellence in Education program. The county has been a partner with us for 3 years, and your commitment to this initiative has played a really significant and key role in the success. Given the partnership, not only your generous contribution to the fund, but also the panache that having the county behind this initiative, which is focused on targeting businesses to and industries interested in relocating to Central Delaware, and also focusing on students and or other underemployed members of our community. After much discussion with several businesses and educators, we learned that it's important for our businesses to have access to employees, as well as encouraging our youth to stay here and have great career opportunities. So that's the primary focus of what we're trying to promote and encourage. And the grants that we have given, and I was remiss, by the way, in providing you all with a overview, and this is just, if you take one and pass it, this is a copy of a report that I get from the Sandell Foundation that manages the fund that we use to, and they oversee, which Commissioner Pepper sits on the review committee when we get the grant request annually. But this is an overview of the monies that we have distributed over the past, well, this year will be 4 years. Note that I did indicate we have already done the award for this year, but it's pending public announcement at the November 2nd meeting, so I have blacked that out. Since this is a public meeting, I didn't want it to get out there. So not that I'm trying to hide anything right now, but we do want to keep it an element of surprise for the public the public event, November 2nd. I've asked this evening for representatives from the Green Beret Project and the NCAW Launcher Project and the Polytech Marketing Project for them to showcase, share with you the details and the impact of the grant funds that we have given them. I thought it would be better to hear from them than from me. So I'm going to turn the floor over to each one of those organizations. I've asked them to keep their comments brief and to the point. So I'm going to preach for my own thing and get up. Did you all have any particular questions of me at this point? Okay. So just because it's alphabetical order, we'll go with the Green Beret Project, and that's Adam Kramer. Adam?
And before Adam starts, just for the record, Commissioner Hall is here now, so we have 6 commissioners present.
And by the way, here's, if you haven't seen the booklet from last year, there's copies of it for you. Yep, you can sit here or there. I can sit with you if you don't have anybody with you. Okay.
First, I would just like to thank the opportunity to speak and to share about Green Beret Project and the Excellence in Education grant that was awarded us last year. Has continued to help the Green Beret Project serve over 200 kids, with only 15 kids in Newcastle County, but our main base of operation here in Dover, and then our secondary main base of operation being in Milton. I brought these young ladies with me tonight to kind of share, the broad spectrum of ages that we serve. So we can have, we have groups of kids that are 4, 5, 6 years old, where we do lots of critical thinking with puzzles and engaging them with sharing a meal, a little bit of athletics. But then once they get older, to the age of young Amira here, who's she's 8 years old and in the 2nd grade. But being able to hone in with some of her critical thinking skills at a young age, and then to be able to have relationships with the local charter schools to get her in there, right? All this, excellence in education, going back into some operating budgets for things like, flashcards and games. But then, with some of the other young women here, we have Jocelyn, who's a sophomore. We have Jalea, who's a senior, who will be going into the Delaware National Guard. So she will be in the program where going to the National Guard as a senior in high school, she'll be able to report to base. And then once pending her graduation, will go off to basic and AIT. So it's enabled us to continue to grow and coach kids over the summer and directly after school. I could literally go on for 5 hours about this. So if you have, if there's any questions right off the bat.
Adam?
There's an overview of his program as well in last year's edition of the profile of the Excellence in Education. They will be part of the presentation at the November 2nd meeting, where they will be part of a panel discussion to share with the group. But I think their article is on page 6, I think? 5, yep.
Just to further the conversation a little bit, we also have a small landscaping company that we've always had a contract with Habitat for Humanity to cut yards and shovel snow for them. We had a contract this summer with local business to Rehoboth called Outside Inn, where we would clean all their hotel rooms, depending, maybe it's 2 rooms a day, maybe it was 8 rooms a day, which was able to, help us continue workforce development, whether that's being on time, strategizing how to do work, clear cut, instructions, identifying, managing, Nine here managed a lot of the younger girls at that job. We also have a mechanic shop where we're slowly building out, teaching young men, and if women choose, mechanics in the wood shop. So finding businesses, keep kids local, finding businesses that will allow us to, hey, we're training the workforce and then plugging them into these jobs is, so, that's what we're seeking down in Kent and Sussex. We found Potnets, and I have a meeting with, I think, was it the Tunnel Corporation or, Potnets and Baywoods, and then I have a pretty good time with NKS that's moving. They're going to move their main base down to Smyrna, and I've also got a few older teens plugged into the warehouse work.
One of the things that their grant talked about last year was focusing on soft skills, especially with young people. So that, as you know, we keep hearing about that from business owners, the importance of soft skills and soft skills education. So that really swayed the committee to support their program, because they're getting with the kids earlier, younger, and talking about the importance of not only, showing up on time, not only the hard work, but being there on time and doing what you're asked to do, and if you have questions, those kinds of things.
Right.
So.
Any questions for Adam? Would one of the young ladies like to speak what they've been doing, just to kind of?
Silence.
Show off your skills.
So we had a meeting with the Longwood Foundation earlier in July. I spoke to them,
Yeah.
so this is twice in one day. Putting you on the spot, girl.
Yeah.
So what am I doing?
Oh, how about we'll do this, make this a little easier. How old are you?
17.
How long have you been with the Greenberry Project?
I've been with them for about 5-6 years.
Roughly about 6th or 7th grade.
And your name again for the record?
Jalea
Jalea?
Last name?
Williams.
Williams? Okay.
How'd you get involved in the program? How'd you find out about it?
I have other siblings that's involved with it. They used to go over there when it first started. I actually don't know how they even really got involved, but after they started going, I started going over there, doing little things, program.
So where are you from?
Dover.
Dover. Great.
It's in the Simon Circle neighborhood.
Oh, gotcha.
She lives in Simon, her family lives in Simon Circle, and our youth center's in Simon Circle.
Is that the old Boys and Girls Club?
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Dover Housing Authority still owns the building. We manage the building. We have a obvious close relationship with Rufus.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Questions?
Any questions? We're not that hard on you.
It was better than going to the dentist, right?
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and then our next group is NCAL Launcher Program. Will Grimes from NCAL, at least NCAL for now, right? Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. Won't take the full 7 minutes because I believe that the proof is in the pudding. But I want to really thank you for the opportunity to be a recipient of the grant. We utilize it really to expand our launcher program. Will be in your brochure. Our launcher program, we've graduated over 146 students. We've actually, 50 of those have actually started their own business. About 6 or 7 actually opened up a brick and mortar in downtown Dover, Tina Timeless Threads and a few others. But we've always wanted to have a youth entrepreneur program. And so when the opportunity came and we were able to get this grant, I knew that this was going to be something special. So the first thing we did was we modeled our youth entrepreneur program after our adult entrepreneur program, which is a 12-week program. So I had to find the right facilitator to take this 12-week course, condense it down to 6 weeks, and not miss any of the important details of it. So we started a youth program, a youth entrepreneur program, and we piloted with 6 youth, age 14 to 16, I think it was. And I'm going to allow one of our youth to speak. The thing that really touched my heart is that I got an email from the mother after the 6 weeks. We did the pitch contest. We were able to use the funding to provide technical assistance to the students, to provide technical assistance to our adults, and I have to say that we used the funding to kind of expand our adult class, and we have a business that just started that's just started downtown Dover, Hand Over Your Rover, which is a dog spa, which is downtown Dover. She was a graduate of our spring class. The funding that we were able to receive, because we were able to expand our technical assistance, we were able to do pitch contests. Barclay had a vendor, their big vendor event in Wilmington. Our student went and she won 2nd place for the pitch contest, $4,000. And I really attribute it because we had the funding to expand the offers that we needed to do. So I'm going to pause there, and I really want you to hear from one of our youth students about pilot program. It's Quinn, and after that, I want you to hear from our facilitator who actually led the course.
Yeah. So one of the key things about what he just said is that the funding helped launch businesses in downtown Dover, not to exclude any other areas. It just happens to be downtown Dover, but we hope to expand it further into the county and the other townships. But go ahead.
Hi, my name is Quinn McManus. I attend the Charter School of Wilmington, and I was given the opportunity to actually be a part of this program that I found out online, and with my mother's encouragement, I was able to continue in the program. And what I took from the program was a great understanding of the basics of how to start a business, and through a book that Ms. Danielle Hall and Reverend Grimes had constructed, helped me understand how to start a business and really helped me launch my business. Even though I haven't fully put it into plans yet, I know how to start it and how to execute the plan, which is really helpful. And I would start the business in Dover because my family is a legacy here, and I would like to establish that in my community and give back. I really love the business aspect of life, and I think it's really important for youth and others to learn about it. So, really enjoyed my time at learning about it.
Where's your business located in Dover?
So it would be located right near the campus of DSU, Hill State, and tell about it?
Sure, you can, yes.
So it's a storage unit that I would set up, and basically, with the storage unit, you know that it's near a campus, and you know how students have to take their stuff out every year, so they could clear out for the summers. So I would let students store their things in my storage unit, so they don't have to bring it all the way back home from where they came from. And I could profit off making money off of that. And honestly, I could set up a company and bring their stuff back to the actual campus dorm room, so they don't have to do a thing and just have to move in and worry about college.
That's a big thing.
So how old are you?
I'm 17.
17.
Yes.
Wow. That's impressive.
How did you come up with the idea?
Well, since I'm not in college yet, I've heard a lot of stories about college students having to move out of dorm rooms and into dorm rooms. Like, oh, I wish I had, a place where I could store my storage on campus instead of bringing it all back home. And I was like, wow, this is the demand, and I need to figure out how to solve that problem. And with the help of my mother and the space that we already owned, I think it would be a good business plan to execute.
You might need more than one storage unit.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. That's really
Other
good.
questions?
I'm interested to see where it leads to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We look forward to getting invited to the grand opening. But that's interesting. I'm sure parents would be happy to write the check for the rent.
Really?
So they don't have to deal with the invading their garages. I bet dads will. Oh, yes. So, well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So with my remaining time, I'd like to bring up the facilitator who actually
Certainly.
taught the course. Ms. Danielle Hall.
Good evening. I'm not a stranger to many of your faces
No,
here.
not at all.
But I've got the hook if she talks too loud. I told
I
her.
told Tanda, I said, the worst thing you could ever do is give a preacher and a politician a microphone. Yeah. Right? At any rate, Quinn spoke a lot, Pastor Grimes spoke a lot about the adult program. This is the binder that is actually used in the adult program, and as you can see, it's chocked full of valuable information. I'll pass it around. And you can feel the weight of it. It's got a wealth of knowledge in it. And so when Will called me, he says, well, we've already got a curriculum. We're going to have these young people come in. And for most of you, you know my fun fact. I have 10 young people. So I have 8 that have successfully emancipated themselves from my wallet and 2 that are still full-time working on that. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm running for it. However, I have a keen, innate sense of investing in our young people because I've had so many of them. And most of my children have been brilliant in school. Some of them have crossed the finish line in fine style, and others I was dragging across. And a lot of them I found really did not want to go to college. And so in this area, because I grew up here, I knew what the opportunities were and the lack thereof. So coming out of college myself in 2008, the market was pretty seized up here, the job market, the economy, and everything. I actually got my beginnings while I was finishing up my master's at Wilmington U. And so just kind of figuring out what entrepreneurship looked like was an arduous process. And I thought to myself, this is a great opportunity to introduce it to young people who have brilliant minds. Quinn is my star student. And to sit and listen to her, she was the quietest of all of my students, and she turned out to be the ringer in the group. And so just being able to meet these young ideas and fresh minds where they are and give them the tools has been a fabulous success. The pilot program yielded great ideas. When Quinn told me about that, I have had students that have lived at Georgetown University, Penn State, and the one at Penn State going up that mountain to take her things back and forth, I was really excited because she had come up with a niche market. And we talked about what market share looks like, developing a business plan, and what sets your business apart from the rest of the market environment. And so she really learned and took that phenomenal piece and just executed it flawlessly. So if you've ever seen the Shark Tank, that's the style of pitch that they do. And so they had an opportunity to present their idea, and we had a first, a second, and third place cash prize, and everybody took a little something away from just participating. So it was a win-win for all, but she really shined, and she really is an exemplary example of what these young minds can do given the resources that this grant funded. So I'd like to see going forward, because those two little pint-sized ones that are getting out of my house soon, one of them is in middle school, and she actually came in and ear hustled the class while I was teaching via Zoom, and she says, "Mom, I'd like to open my own business." And she's 7th grade this year, so she was a 6th grader last year. She wants to do editing for videos. And I said, well, you know, that's a great idea. So I would like to make a recommendation to you all that when you refund and replenish this fund to expand, that you could also have an expansion opportunity to the middle schoolers as well as the high schoolers. This one was geared toward 14 to 19-year-olds, but there's certainly an interest generated to our younger people. So anything that I could do to help along with this progress, I would like to be a part of and make a strong recommendation to you to not only refund, but give them some more money so we can expand it to more kids. So I've made my plug, and that is my time. Thank you.
Thank you, good
Thank
to
you
see
for
you.
asking for more money. They're used to me doing that.
Well, I asked well. The only thing that anybody could say is no, right?
There you go.
Thank you, thank you.
Are there any questions for me?
Very nice, very good.
Very nice
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you, Will, very much, thank you. And then our next presenter is our friends at Polytech. If it, yep,
All right, so,
so you're familiar.
Yes.
with,
yeah, great to be here, and Tonda, thank you for asking me, and thank you to all of you as well.
Jeremy McIntyre, by the
So
way.
Jeremy McIntyre with Polytech, with the adult division, and we actually received an award that when we applied for it, we said we were going to use it to fund a video for youth apprenticeship. So a lot of the emphasis that Tonda mentioned was of very interest to us, which is why we applied, and that was kind of getting young people to engage in the workforce and hopefully keeping them local. And so that's what youth apprenticeship is. It's a way to get young folks to engage with an employer and start an apprenticeship program before they graduate from high school. So it hasn't really been tried before in Delaware, and this was a new thing. So we used this money to help us do a video to gain awareness, to increase awareness about youth apprenticeship, about apprenticeship in general, and really promote it to young folks. The video was really successful. We ended up working with a company who, the initial quote I got was outrageous. It was a group in Wilmington. I won't say who it was, but it was just, the grant wouldn't even have touched it. And so I was getting very nervous. I thought maybe we, took a bit more than bit off more than we could chew. But I actually found a company down in Rehoboth that was so affordable that I was able to actually fund 2 videos. So I have 2 youth apprentice videos that we were able to do for the amount of money that we got through the award, which was great. We actually were able to produce the first one showing the pathway for a young person who went to high school at Polytech High School, was an electrical student at Polytech. The young person actually got hired by a local electrical contractor while they were in high school, sponsored as an apprentice, and continued on into our adult programs, and is actually going into his 4th year of apprenticeship this year, and will be a journey person, electrician, when he's done. The second and then that video, I should mention, what we did with it was we put it not only on our website, but we actually chopped it up and put it out in all of our social media and use it as a way to basically gain awareness to show people what apprenticeship is. So the second video that we did not know when we applied for this that we would be able to do actually showed the pathway for a young adult who was an adult high school student, and what it looks like for somebody who came to, basically didn't come through the traditional vocational technical school system, and to show people that there's another pathway. And so this individual got a job working at a car dealership and as an auto mechanic, and became an auto mechanic apprenticeship, and they also fit in that youth apprenticeship model. So it's basically, again, something that we've used to show people that there's a pathway to real good jobs locally with local employers, and hopefully grab them before they go off somewhere else, before they move out of the area looking for work, or maybe even go to college, because often they never come back. If we can get them engaged in apprenticeship while they're young, hopefully we can get them to stay here. So that's what we did. That was the purpose of our application, and we're really grateful for it. It's gotten a lot of mileage. We're not done yet. We're still, like I said, chopping those videos up and using them in 100 different ways to get as much mileage as we can out of them. So that's basically how we use the grant, and we really, again, appreciate it. And any questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Questions? Just a quick one. The alternative way, how you got that student into auto mechanics, where was he headed for then?
So this young person, he did not have a job at all when he came to us. He started taking classes, wasn't sure what he wanted to do, was kind of floundering. And like I said, we helped him get basically, well, I didn't mention this, but we actually helped that young person get an internship first, where the employer took a chance on him and said, you know, I'm not really ready to commit to him as an employee. And once he did that, they realized quickly that they had a good person. And actually, interestingly, he's opened up the path with this local employer. I'll say who it is. They're a great partner of ours, Price Auto Group. He's opened up a pathway with Price Auto Group for other young people to do the same thing. So they just hired a young lady who's now one of their newest apprentices. And another young man who we were able to give some. One of the things we do is if they get a job in this youth apprentice program, we'll give them some tools, because it's a really a difficult barrier for a lot of young folks who don't have any money to go work in some of these jobs, because they need to have their own tools. So we provided tools for them, but the way it all started was through the awareness that we were able to get, and a big piece of that is that video.
I think it's important to point out that one of the things that we pride ourselves in at the Excellence in Education Fund is funding projects that are a little different, and projects that they wouldn't necessarily be able to get funding for, because oftentimes other grant programs don't make available funding for marketing, or they don't make money available for, I see a grant request for tools as an example, or you know, a couple years ago we gave you funding to get the licensing program for some
IT,
students.
yeah,
The
get them
IT.
some vouchers, yeah.
Yeah, we gave them vouchers. So we do and open our eyes to programs and projects that are workforce, work-based related.
What Tonda said is definitely true. A lot of the funding that we get, and we're so thankful to get it, has really tight constraints about how it can be used, and often what they say is it can be used to pay for tuition, and that's it. But that's great, but right now, I know all of you are aware, it's hard to get people even interested in going into employment and into going into training to be employed. So promotion is huge. We just can't do it with a lot of our funding that we have. So it was nice to have that flexibility.
Well,
And they did promote, by the way, the fund too, that it was partner and
I
sponsorship.
know when
so.
education was, when I was in education, it was looking at trying to find teachers to come in. An alternative way of getting teachers there was taking somebody that had a degree, may not have been in education, but they tailored it toward getting that teacher ready. So
Right.
I can see the reverse happening now for what you just said. It's more like a trickle down to get the alternative to the person that really needs it at the lower level, not meaning anything bad by that.
Grassroots.
But getting them to at least look at something that they may not have at one time and give them an opportunity for this to work. And I see this as a win-win way of working, and thank you.
And automotive was one of the target categories from the, help me, the Rockport study. So we do weigh, as Terry will tell you, we do weigh the grant requests predicated on the Rockport study, and we look at that each year when it's available to give a stronger emphasis on what they are recommending or targeting. I also think it's important to point out, you'll note that it was video and not newsprint that was funded. So we're not biased here. Had to get that in there.
Yeah.
But you know that, right, Jerry?
Yeah, sure.
So that's it in a nutshell. My hope is that the county will continue to be a partner. The value of what you bring to the table, not only in your capital investment, I did share with you, you can see that the money is going out, it's not sitting there. My hope is long range that we will actually get to the point that we can fund some really significant programs. But as you can see, a lot is getting done with even just a small investment in our community and in the programs that are being made, being asked for. So, and I think that there are businesses that get on board because of the commitment of this organization. So.
Any questions? Mr. Federmarsh, we've received the request for this year's funding.
Well, we plan to budget and approve it in April, so we are funded for this year.
Yep.
We have $10,000 for the grant program and $5,000 for the promotional aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's in the FY23 budget. And so I'm not sure, I assume this is partly, this timing of this is in preparation for our FY24 budget. So as we move into that budget cycle, it's already kind of in the current budget, and we just need to, if commissioners are inclined to keep it or to augment it or whatever, just remember that in the spring when we're finalizing the FY24 budget. It'll be in there in the draft, and do you have anything else to add to your presentation regarding that?
I need to remind everybody in the spring.
To your point, I think one of the comments was about expanding it to 7th and 8th grade.
Yep.
It's probably a good idea.
Yep.
Before they get into high school.
If someone brings, again, it's open to all the schools, it's open to all nonprofits. And in fact, we funded a few years ago the Inner City Cultural League, which did provide IT training and introductions to IT to a lot of younger people. So we don't limit it. We are much more open and flexible to that, but we can certainly target that as as a reminder. But yes, the whole idea is to introduce career opportunities and provide job opportunities and speak to the industries that are looking for employees in this area. And that ties back in, obviously, with the economic development initiatives of the county, the Kent Economic Partnership, and of course the Greater Kent Committee, who are also partners with us as well and plan to stay as partners.
I should have mentioned, if anybody's interested in looking at the videos, you can go on our website to just see the there's a youth apprenticeship link on there. If you click on that, it'll take you to where the videos are. You can watch them if you're interested. See what we produced with the funds.
Mr. Pettermarsh?
If I could just follow up on the budget topic. Tonda, if wouldn't be asking too much to put something in writing, particularly if there's any proposed additional requests, we would need to know.
I can ask for more?
Well, I'm just saying, don't leave it up to our guesswork, because, we won't necessarily hold it there. But if there is a proposal before us, then we respond to it, so.
I can do an overview like I have done in the past for you, just to outline.
Yeah, and just put it in writing. We don't need to necessarily come to this kind of forum, but
Yep.
if we just have a request,
Okay.
and by, say, the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely, it's not a problem. I
Yeah.
can have it for you, because it's not,
Okay.
I've got it all right here.
And the nice thing about what Mr. Pettermarsh is asking for, because he's retiring on us at the end of the year.
Yeah.
There's a paper trail.
Yes.
So we can have this followed through.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mr. Pettermarsh.
Sure.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Okay, so,
Okay. Any other
anything
questions?
else?
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
very
you all
helpful.
very much for your time and
Thank you.
consideration and your ongoing support.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Seeing nobody, back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda would be Community Services Committee. Commissioner Sweeney is the chair. You have one item. Turn it over to you, sir.
Public safety.
Oh, what? We did skip public safety, didn't we? I'm sorry. Well, we're going to put you at the end, Colin. I'll see who you got with you. And he definitely needs full exposure. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, Commissioner Hall, turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I was going to invite Chief Faulkner down, but we've already reached that stage and guests. Jim, hey, good to see you.
Good evening.
So I will turn it over to Chief.
Okay, good evening again. Commissioners, I know Jim Hosfeld requires no introduction. Everybody knows him. So we'll just get to it. So a couple of weeks ago, we came to Levy Court with actually a two-part memorandum for the commissioners to review. And the first part on raising the rates for our mass gatherings, our memorandum of understanding that we have with various agencies. There was some concern over the price jump from what it was to what we were recommending. So Deputy Chief Tinger and myself met with Chief Hosfeld and Tim Horn, the CFO, I think, for Dover Downs. And we came up with a sliding scale that's the 6-year phase-in that you'll see as Exhibit A. So really, the only thing that changes on the MOU that you originally saw a couple of weeks ago is on page 2, where it references this exhibit, and then it goes on and exhibit. A, of course, is how we perceive the hourly increase over a period of 6 years. I'm going to let the chief make a comment. I think we're agreeable to.
Yes.
We've had a discussion with them, and they're agreeable to the rate increase, and that satisfies us as well, and it will keep us out of the red. So we're really happy with it, and I think a good way to go forward in the future.
All right. Any questions?
And this will apply to the other entities that we
Yes.
do business with?
Yes, and there is the other change that we did make was the dispatcher rate. Their hourly increase is they're less than the paramedic, and that's actually the way it is in the department as well, just because of the nature of their job.
And at that rate, you'll be able to get the retired paramedics and Newcastle and Sussex to come and work events here.
Okay, so this rate is what we would charge for organizations for utilizing our services. The rate which you're referring to is to increase the rate for our temporary employees to $37, wasn't it? $38.
And this is adequate to do that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. But that's a second part,
Sure.
separate from the Dover
Right,
Downs.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other questions?
I have a question for the chief, Chief Faulkner. This schedule runs through 2028, so is it safe to assume that in 2028 you will be back before this body with a revised proposal?
That is probably not too safe to assume.
Won't be either one of us.
What body, Mike?
I just wanted to clarify that.
Just want to clarify what body you're talking about. That body.
Thank you,
I
Chief.
think I'll be shot if I ever.
All right. Any other questions?
Let's go with you.
Yeah, it's good. I appreciate some of the phone calls we got from the commissioners and everybody reaching out. The timing, we were in the middle of Firefly. We're going back and forth. And then last week when we asked to push this, the interesting thing, I explained to Chief and to John that, timing is everything. And I get the request and I take it over and I'm talking to my two bosses, Tim Horn and Mike Tatoyan. And I'm reminded that, today I just wrote a $475,000 check to the county for property taxes. And now you're bringing this to me. Yeah, we're a money pit, public safety as a whole, and I'm speaking to the choir here, as a money pit. And we are, and we just spend money, we don't make it. And, but I think this is fair to all parties involved, and we appreciate the cooperation with the commissioners and to Chief Faulkner and his staff. They do a wonderful job. You should be very proud of the Commissioner Hall. You should be very proud of the people that you have. They do a wonderful job for us.
They do. They do.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the lead on that, Chief. Coming to a very agreeable
Yeah, it was a team
timeline.
effort. I worked with John, Deputy Chief Tinger, and we worked together very well with Dover Downs to bring us all together, and we're happy with it. And we really didn't know that you were writing that check when we set this meeting up.
I didn't know either. Yeah.
All right. Any public comments? Anybody on the phone?
We have no one online.
All right.
Good deal.
Mr. President, back to you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to talk to you about Firefly some, so I'll give you a call.
All righty. Now we will
Cats.
continue on with Community Services Committee, Mr. Sweeney, Feral Cat Abatement Program.
So, I didn't ask anybody to come visit us today.
All right.
So this is just a discussion amongst the 7 of us. If you remember, a couple years ago, we brought up feral cats in the county, and the estimate at that time was 11,000 feral cats just in Kent County. And since we haven't done anything about feral cats, they estimate that we're probably up around 14,000 feral cats now. And I can attest to the fact that I have one feral cat at home that is too wily to catch in a cage, and she's had 7 kittens in the last year and a half. So I'm contributing to the problem, but all 7 kittens have been caught, domesticated, and spay or neutered, and hopefully are finding forever homes someplace right now. If I could catch this mom, help fix the problem. So 2 things have come up in the past couple weeks that kind of brought this back to light, and that was the demolition of the box outlet downtown.
Oh, yeah.
There was a cat colony there that was being maintained by a lady from Dover who would come in every morning and leave food out for them. We have no idea what happened to the feral colony, whether or not anybody went in and abated the colony or just, destroyed them or what they did. We don't know what they did with the 3 homeless people that were living in the woods there, let alone the feral cat colony. The other thing that came up was an email that went out from a representative from the 34th District that said that there is a trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return protocol that the state enacted in 2018, and they have a sterilization voucher that allows you to get your pet sterilized for $20, which is all well and good if you catch a cat or you get somebody else's friend cat and want to be able to get it spayed or neutered, but still have the problem of the feral cat colonies. So what I'd like to do is to start to revisit the program that we looked at 2 years ago and bring that back formally to this body and get approval for funds to move forward, to engage with the local shelters to be our front and leading edge for a feral cat abatement program. So, I mean, I'm thinking right off the bat, it's going to be $50,000 a year, probably for 4 years. And I sent out what we had talked about 2 years ago, and I got some feedback back from people who participated back then, and they've pointed me to some much simpler programs that might be worth it to look into. That all it requires is money from us, and it doesn't seem like it's very much, but it'll do a lot of help.
Is Dover doing anything at all?
No. No.
That's the same people that we were working with, friends for up in Wilmington, be doing the same thing.
Well, Brandywine Valley, yes. Forgotten Cats, Perfect Haven, and the First State Animal Shelter, which used to be the Kent County SPCA. Those 4 groups are the ones we worked with before. So Brandywine Valley, there's some animosity between Brandywine Valley and Faithful Friends. They didn't want to work together. They didn't want to share the money. They wanted all the money or none of the money. But I think I can bring them together. And if we come up with a simpler program, then everybody benefits and everybody can participate. So I just want to take the programs, put them together, find something that works for Kent County, bring it back and run it by all of us, and then go public with it.
Makes sense.
Well, I know the lady that had the house next to the box outlet.
Yeah.
My wife and I were helping her get to a nursing home and take care of. So I know about the buildings in back and the homeless and the cats and oh my God.
Yeah.
But the problem was the lady that was bringing food was just dumping it right there in the street.
Yep.
And then you got the homeless people that were living in the bushes that were in between the box outlet and her house, which was another issue. But the feral cats, oh my God.
Yeah,
there must have been 20, 25 of them in that area that she was supplying the food and the problem to. Then you had the restaurant behind us also that wasn't helping either. For the homeless that were also leaving the scraps for the cats too. So anyway, I'm very well aware, and yeah, something needs to be done.
Yep.
Because not just because of that, but the disease and what's going on and what's happening in that area.
The state will specifically tell you that the Office of Animal Welfare does not deal with feral cats, period. So if you call to complain about all these cats around Box Outlet, Animal Welfare, whether it's Dover Police or the state, will not respond. They don't care. It's not their purview. There's also no agencies that'll pick up free roaming cats, and that seems to be the problem, is the trapping of the cats. But the agencies that we worked with a couple years ago are experts at that and know what to do and know how to handle them. They have space for when they do capture them. They get them someplace to get them. They do return them, but the more you capture and the more you fix and get back, the less kittens you keep having over years. So I just think it's something that we need to pick up right now, and I think we're in a good position to do that. Mike?
Yeah, just to remind everyone, and I know Commissioner Hall and Commissioner Maston were not on Levy Court in 18 when you all funded a program then. In 2018, Levy Court appropriated $10,000, and it was with Faithful Friends at the time. They came forward with the idea. Levy Court agreed to that amount, provided they come back with a plan on how they're going to use it, and they did. They came back with a plan and showed how it would not be just concentrated in one particular area of the county. They were going to try to disperse and provide coverage in various locations. And then they came back later in that year and told us after the program was over, it was like in the early winter, and I believe they took care of over 500 cats. And oddly enough, when I looked at the list, and you may remember this, Commissioner Sweeney, a lot of the colonies that they addressed were in manufactured housing communities.
Yep.
Which I don't know if there's a coincidence there, or if that was just the easier places to go, but they were dispersed throughout the county. But that $10,000, took care of at least 500
Right.
plus.
One of the biggest colonies right now is right behind DelDOT. And DelDOT employees bring food in and take it out in the woods and dump it for the cats to eat, but they won't deal with the problem. They just keep feeding the cats, and the cats keep expanding.
Having babies.
Yeah, like rabbits.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
Good.
That's all I need.
Thank you.
Any public comment? Come on, Hertz, you gotta say something.
I'm just glad to be here.
All right, back to you, Mr. President.
Do we have executive session tonight? We needed one?
Craig? No.
No, we don't? All right. One other thing I added to the agenda. Laura is going to help us with it. And it's been brought to my attention that somebody in the room has a birthday today. So we need to memorialize that
Delightful.
and make note of it.
Oh, look
One
at
of our
this.
fellow commissioners has a
awesome.
birthday today.
Well, I think we need to sing,
We
Mr.
ought to sing
President.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
Fellas?
Kelly, you ready?
And Commissioner DeBee Hertz can join in on this.
Ready?
Special.
All right, let's start. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joanne. Happy birthday to you.
Make a wish, right?
I wish this didn't happen.
I'm about 20 years younger.
Oh, we all.
Wish granted.
Yes,
Don't I wish? Tell my bones that in the morning.
happy birthday.
Thank you. You guys are too much.
I'm glad you decided to spend it with us instead of something more fun.
Hey, Laura, my birthday's next Monday.
Well, Jimmy's at Clayton preparing for the mayor's breakfast tomorrow.
What time is that? What time is that tomorrow, Joey?
I'm sorry.
What time does that start?
You should be there probably about 7:30.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So he's doing bacon and sausage tonight.
Bacon sausage, all right. All right, with that being said, I don't think there's anything else on
Everybody
else
want
agenda.
Leadership tomorrow?
There you go.
I don't know.
Help
Leadership
yourself.
tomorrow?
Pass it around. I'll
Mike?
spread my wealth around.
Leadership tomorrow or not?
If you both available for it?
I can be available.
Alan,
I added something to the agenda for Lori, so.
Yeah.
Alan,
told me.
August 20, or October 20th is the county meeting.
Okay, I was right.
So
Yeah.
he checked first today.
Yeah.
Tara is still the secretary until the end of the year.
Yeah, I thought it was. I wasn't 100% sure.
Then we'll make it till